Good day, I'm Dr. Ting. In this short video clip, we are going to run t-test. T-test is a type of inferential statistic used to determine if there is a significant difference between the means of two different groups, which may be related in certain features. There are three different types of t-test: one sample t-test, independent two samples t-test, and also paired sample t-test. Before you run the t-test, we have to make the assumption that you are using continuous or ordinal scale in measuring your variable, and you have randomly selected observation. Data is normally distributed in bell curve. You have large sample size. Variances among the groups should be equal, especially for independent two samples t-test. Let's try on the one sample t-test. Let's say if there is a mobile manufacturer that would like to try and measure whether their screen size actually does not differ from the average screen size, which is 10 centimeter. So the hypothesis that you can run is that the null hypothesis, mean screen size of sample does not differ from 10 cm. Whereas the alternate hypothesis, mean screen size of the sample differ from 10 cm. So this mobile manufacturer, they don't want to have an average screen size that is different from 10 cm. If your analysis is correct and if your analysis is successful or accept the alternate hypothesis, means that you successfully tell the manufacturer that their screen size of the sample that they have sent actually is different from 10 cm. Let's now run one sample t-test. Go to File, Open, and look for 7A one sample t-test. And there is only one variable, which is the screen size from the samples that the mobile manufacturer is sending to us. Now we want to compare the means of this screen size with the mean of average 10 cm. We don't want them to differ from 10 cm. Go to Analyze, Compare Means, and select one sample t-test. Select screen size in cm, and this is the average screen size that we want to compare, which is 10 cm. Click OK, and let's take a look at the result. From the result, we can see that the screen size in cm in means as compared to 10 cm, the significance is larger than 0.05, which also means that we are going to reject the alternative hypothesis. Now the alternative hypothesis is that mean screen size of sample is different from 10 cm, which also means that we accept null hypothesis. So the sample size of the screen size that they have sent over to us for testing is actually does not differ from 10 cm. Let's now continue with independent two samples t-test. Independent two samples t-test is used to measure whether there is any difference between the means of two different groups of experiment or observations. Let's say, for example, we have an experiment on two different groups of athletes. The first group, we're going to give them placebo diet, whereas in group B, we're going to give them caffeine. Then their respiratory exchange rate is measured to see whether there is any difference in their performance if they take placebo diet versus caffeine diet. So our hypothesis in this experiment is that the null hypothesis, there is no difference in the sports performance by taking caffeine, whereas the alternative hypothesis is that sports performance will be increased by taking caffeine, or there is difference between the group A and group B when group B take caffeine. Let's now run the independent two samples t-test. Go to File, Open, look for 7B, Open. RER stands for respiratory exchange rate, and the experiment group stands for placebo and also the caffeine group. So 1 equivalent to placebo and 2 equivalent to caffeine. Click OK and go to Data View. We are going to analyze Compare Means, Independent Sample t-test, and choose respiratory exchange ratio to test variable and the experiment grouped under the grouping. Now go to define groups and define the value for group 1 will be 1, which is representing respiratory, and group 2 will be 2, representing the caffeine diet group. Go to continue. Under the options, we are going to select the confidence interval, which is 95%. This is the standardized confidence interval value. Continue. Click OK. Now let's check the result. The result shows that the significance is larger than 0.05, which is not significant, and therefore we shall reject alternative hypothesis and accept null hypothesis, in which in this experiment it is shown that there is no difference in Spock's performance by taking caffeine, which also means that there is no difference between the means of the Spock's performance between group A and group B. So that's how you can test the independent two-sample t-test by using PSPP. Next now, move on to the last type of t-test, which is paired sample t-test. Paired sample t-test is used to compare the same group of observation under different conditions. Let's say, for example, we have the same set of tire, but one set of tire with rubber X and the other set of tire with rubber Y. And our hypothesis is that there is null hypothesis. There is no difference between the means of tires before and after changing the rubber material. Whereas alternative hypothesis is that there is a difference between means of tires before and after changing rubber material to X from X to Y. Let's now run the paired sample t-test. Go to File, Open, and look for 7C, paired sample t-test. Open, and you'll be able to see tire 1 and tire 2 with different mileage usage of tire 1 and also tire 2. Go to Analyze, Compare Means, Paired Sample t-test, and choose tire 1 under variable 1, tire 2 under variable 2. Under Options, choose 95% of confidence interval, which is also the default value for confidence level. Then click OK. Let's check the result. In this paired sample test result, we can see that the significance level for two-tailed is lesser than 0.05, which also means that this experiment is significant. So in this case, we are going to reject null hypothesis and we are going to accept alternative hypothesis, in which there is a difference between the means of tires before and after changing the rubber material. So this will be the three different types of t-test: one sample t-test, independent two samples t-test, and paired sample t-test. That's all for this video clip. Thank you for your attention.